The Rebbe told this story, again, this is the early years, that was kind of smiling when he said it. It was Yud Beis Tammuz, the famous Fabrengen. Yud Beis Tammuz, 1954, it was like a 9-hour Fabrengen. It finished close to 7 o'clock in the morning or something. Or more than 9 hours. The Rebbe said this at the end of the Fabrengen. He said that someone once stumbled, that's the expression here, in a certain Avera, and he wanted a tikkun. And he came to the Rebbe Marash, to Yechidus, to ask for a tikkun, how to rectify. But since he was embarrassed to tell the Rebbe what he did, so he said to the Rebbe, his good friend, that he is very concerned and loves dearly, and about him and so on, did this, stumbled in this Aveda, and he's embarrassed to come. And therefore he asked me to come to ask for the tikkun. The Marash responded to me, he says, why did your friend have to send you? If he's embarrassed, he could have come himself and said he's asking for somebody else. So the Rebbe concluded and said like this, I just want you, this is contextual. What's coming next? Things have changed. This is 1954, and you have to understand also what drove this. What drove what? Listen to the words. Likewise, the Rebbe said, the Seder has become now, everybody has to go to the country. And so when they ask me about traveling, whatever it is they're asking, the Chassid is asking, he's embarrassed to say he wants to go to the country. And he says his wife wants to go. So she wants to go, so he wants to know whether he should also go or not. The family should go alone. Follow? Really he wants, but he's embarrassed to say that. And because the Gemara says, the Medrash says, when you come to a place, you've got to follow the not the protocol, but the nimbus means when in Rome, do like Rome. It's really rooted here. You follow the custom. So he does so. That's what's driving him. How can he be uncivilized? Everybody goes to the country. It could be that by going there, he's going to be even more exhausted than being in New York, because there's no Chol Yisrael there, and it's expensive. And therefore, he's got to rent something which is much, much less comfortable than the house at home. But he's ready to give all of that up because you've got to follow the custom, the practice of the locale. Since it comes the 4th of July, he's got to go to the country. That was kind of being sarcastic a little bit, not sarcastic, but he's as you can hear. He's saying it and he tells a story. There was once a Malamed, the similar kind of thing, that the doctor told him he has to go to the forest for fresh air. I recall the story the time he said of the problems of the lungs, he needed fresh air. He needed parnasa, so he couldn't. So a whole day he's teaching the kids. And from the whole thing that he's teaching, he makes the money, but he doesn't have enough to take a train, whatever it is, he has to go by foot. And that takes many hours. And meanwhile, when he gets there, it's already, he has to daven with a minion. And so, I guess he davens and goes straight back to the city. So he was there for a few, in the country, the forest. Abi, was joking here. He fulfilled the directive of the doctor. Okay, so again, nowadays it's changed. The country is not, it's 1954. The point is not the country, the point is that the Rebbe is to break that this is 1954, especially, where, even Chassidim, there was this, you've got to be respectful and of the more than custom of the, you got to adapt to the,
keep up with the Joneses.
You shouldn't look, it shouldn't look like you're from Mars and you're a foreign,
culture.
Huh? cultured. To a certain degree, I'm not saying not to chas v'sholem, to give up keeping Shabbos, no one thought of that, but to be a mensch of mission mention, as expression, to be civilized. And Rebbe broke that. He said, we are the masters of the world. We don't adapt to anything. Our job is to suffuse it with godliness, but not to surrender to any of its cultural norms. Absolutely not at any level. Okay, again, so the country is not an issue anymore today. Camp, and then already, whole bungalow colonies and the Chassidic colonies, and you have your own environment, and etc. But just the inyan, the concept, because this is what everybody's doing. You don't want to be different and then be looked at that you are not cultured and modern and advanced. The Rebbe said. Nonsense. Breaking that whole mentality. Again, 1954, that was still very early in that whole Avodah. And hopefully, for this, for a large degree, for the Bachrim, the next generation, you did break through the whole thing. And the whole generation of not being expelled from the world, that Rebbe educated. And Dafka, they are the ones that go out to the world and bring godliness. I'll conclude with the vote. I think I told you that a real sinner. So he was an interesting person. Who we started off originally. He was a mapainik. He lived in Israel. He was a kibbutznik, and then he became a very brilliant man, idealistic and so on, searching. Became the Torah Karta, and then he became Aguda, and then he ended up Lubavitch, Chabad. There's a very extensive correspondence with him and the Rebbe, and he was in the Yechidus many times. He was a translator for the UN. That was his parnasa, because he didn't know how many languages he knew fluently that he could translate. And he once asked the Rebbe, related, you should write a book on him. His journey is fascinating.
Sorry,
he sees him at pardon?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear his name.
Sinner. So it seems to him that the Rebbe changed Chabad from the day in all the previous generations. A typical Chabad Chosed was the Ovid, and the one that was, completely not engaged in the world. And here there's a savvy new Chosed. It's the beginning of Shlichus. Even the Rebbe himself, a hat and a tie. None of them wore a hat, none of them wore a tie. So it seems like he changed Chabad. It's a new direction. So the Rebbe said to him that after 6 generations, Chassidus, showing how the world itself is Ein ve'efes, and the only reality of the world is Ein et Levade, now we're ready to engage the world and use it in Kedusha. To be part of it and not disposal from it and be the masters of it. Right? That's the point that we're saying over here. Everybody have a wonderful day. We'll see you all, God willing, tomorrow.